Hey everyone, and welcome back to the AI Tech channel. Today, we're diving into a story that's been a long time coming. Meta AI has finally arrived in Europe. But this wasn't a simple launch. It was a battle against regulatory hurdles, data privacy concerns, and the very definition of what it means to innovate in a highly regulated environment. Was the wait worth it? Are Europeans getting the full AI experience, or a watered-down version? And more importantly, is Europe's strict approach to data privacy stifling AI innovation? Stick around, because we're about to unpack all of this. I'm your host, and let's get started. So, the big news. After an 8-month delay, Meta AI is now available in 41 European countries and 21 overseas territories. This is Meta's most significant international expansion for its AI assistant to date. You might remember that Meta first announced its plans to bring Meta AI to Europe last year, but those plans were quickly put on hold due to concerns from European regulators. Now, users across Europe, including those using WhatsApp, can access Meta AI directly within Meta's apps, similar to how it functions in the UK and the US. The AI assistant promises a range of functionalities, from content curation to brainstorming within group chats. And to better serve the diverse European market, the chat function will be available in 6 new European languages. This is a significant step for Meta, but the road to get here was far from smooth. We'll dig into why in just a bit. Let's break down what made this launch so challenging. The core issue boils down to European regulations, which prioritize data privacy and aim to create a level playing field between tech giants and smaller companies. This means that Meta had to navigate a complex web of rules and regulations, including the General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, and the upcoming AI Act. The GDPR, which came into effect in 2018, sets strict rules for how companies collect, use, and store personal data. It requires companies to obtain explicit consent from users before collecting their data, and it gives users the right to access, rectify, and erase their data. The AI Act, which is still under development, will further regulate the development and deployment of AI systems in Europe, with a particular focus on high-risk AI applications. One of the key challenges for Meta was training its AI models while complying with these regulations. AI models require vast amounts of data to learn and improve, but European regulations make it difficult to collect and use this data. As a result, Meta has had to make some compromises. According to a Meta spokesperson, the Meta AI being launched in Europe is a text-only model that wasn't trained on first-party data from users in the EU. This means that the AI may not be as accurate or as effective as the version available in the US, which was trained on a broader dataset. This raises a critical question. Is Europe's commitment to data privacy hindering its ability to compete in the AI race? Think of it like this. It's like trying to train a world-class athlete while tying one hand behind their back. They can still compete, but they're at a distinct disadvantage. This is where the concept of federated learning comes in. Federated learning, as described in a paper by Google researchers, allows models to be trained on decentralized data without explicitly exchanging data samples. This could be a potential avenue for Meta and others to navigate the GDPR restrictions. Reference: McMahon, H. B. Moore, E. Ramage, D. Hampson, S. and Arcus, B. A. 2017. Communication-efficient learning of deep networks from decentralized data. Proceedings of the 20th International Conference on Artificial Intelligence and Statistics, 1273 to 1282. Also, let's consider the term differential privacy. Differential privacy adds noise to data to protect individual privacy while still allowing for meaningful analysis. Meta could explore this as a mechanism to train their models while adhering to privacy regulations. Finally, homomorphic encryption allows computations to be performed on encrypted data without decrypting it first. This could potentially allow Meta to train AI models on encrypted user data, further safeguarding privacy. So, it's clear that these technologies offer a path forward, but they also add complexity and potentially performance overhead. This is where things get really interesting. On one hand, you have the argument that Europe's strict regulations are essential to protect citizens' privacy and prevent the misuse of AI. Proponents of this view argue that data privacy is a fundamental human right, and that companies should not be allowed to collect and use personal data without explicit consent. They point to examples of AI systems that have been used to discriminate against certain groups or to manipulate people's behavior. They fear a future where AI is used to create a surveillance state, where every aspect of our lives is monitored and controlled. On the other hand, you have the argument that Europe's regulations are stifling innovation and putting European companies at a disadvantage. Those who hold this view argue that AI is a powerful tool that can be used to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, from climate change to disease. They believe that Europe needs to create a more favorable environment for AI development, or it will be left behind by the US and China. They argue that the benefits of AI outweigh the risks, and that regulations should be designed to encourage innovation, not stifle it. For example, consider the impact on medical research. Access to large datasets is crucial for developing AI-powered diagnostic tools and personalized treatments. But strict privacy regulations can make it difficult to obtain and use this data, potentially delaying breakthroughs that could save lives. So, how do we reconcile these two opposing views? Is it possible to protect data privacy while still fostering AI innovation? One potential solution is to focus on developing privacy-enhancing technologies, such as the ones we discussed earlier: federated learning, differential privacy, and homomorphic encryption. These technologies allow companies to train AI models on data without compromising individual privacy. Another approach is to adopt a risk-based regulatory framework, which focuses on regulating high-risk AI applications while allowing more flexibility for low-risk applications. For example, AI systems used in healthcare or law enforcement could be subject to stricter regulations than AI systems used for entertainment or marketing. The key is to find a balance between protecting data privacy and promoting AI innovation. This requires a collaborative effort between policymakers, researchers, and industry leaders. It also requires a willingness to experiment with new regulatory approaches and to adapt to the rapidly evolving landscape of AI. To verify the impact of regulation, one could compare the number of AI startups and the amount of venture capital invested in AI in Europe versus the US or China over the past 5 years. A significant disparity could indicate that Europe's regulatory environment is indeed hindering innovation. It's no secret that Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg has been frustrated by the slow pace of regulatory approval in Europe. Last December, he said it was sad that Europeans were being left behind. Former President of Global Affairs Nick Clegg has also been vocal about the challenges Meta has faced in navigating the European regulatory landscape. But despite these frustrations, Meta has persevered. The company has invested significant resources in engaging with European regulators and finding a way to bring Meta AI to Europe in a way that complies with the rules. The fact that Meta is launching a text-only model that wasn't trained on first-party data from EU users is a testament to the company's commitment to working within the existing regulatory framework. It's also a sign that Meta is willing to make compromises in order to serve the European market. But the question remains, will these compromises be enough? Will Europeans be satisfied with a watered-down version of Meta AI? And will Meta be able to compete effectively in the European market if it's forced to operate under such restrictive regulations? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear. The launch of Meta AI in Europe is a significant milestone in the ongoing debate about the balance between data privacy and AI innovation. So, what does all of this mean for the future of AI in Europe? Well, it's clear that Europe is taking a different approach to AI than the US and China. Europe is prioritizing data privacy and ethical considerations, while the US and China are more focused on economic competitiveness. This doesn't necessarily mean that one approach is better than the other. It simply means that Europe is making different choices about the kind of AI it wants to develop and deploy. The success of Meta AI in Europe will depend on a number of factors, including the quality of the AI model, the user experience, and the regulatory environment. But ultimately, the future of AI in Europe will be determined by the choices that European policymakers, researchers, and industry leaders make in the coming years. Will they be able to find a way to balance data privacy with AI innovation? Will they be able to create a regulatory framework that encourages innovation while protecting citizens' rights? These are the questions that will shape the future of AI in Europe. What are your thoughts? Do you think Europe is right to prioritize data privacy, or is it stifling innovation? Let us know in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to the AI Tech channel for more updates on the latest developments in the world of artificial intelligence. Thanks for watching.